Alright, that says, in-law. How that twirls that's tail. Well, the next day, her husband took her into the room, and there was the flax in the day's food. Now, there's the flax, says he, and if that ain't spun up this night, off goes your head. And then he went out and locked the door. He'd hardly gone, when there was a knocking against the window. She upped and she opened it, and there sure enough was the little old thing sitting on the ledge. "Where's the flax?" says he. "Here it be," says she, and she gave it to him. Well, come the evening a knocking came again to the window. She upped and she opened it, and there was a little old thing with 5 skeins of flax on his arm. "Here it be," says he, and he gave it to her. "Now, what's my name?" says he. "What, is that Bill?" says she. "No, that ain't," says he, and he twirled his tail. "Is that Ned?" says she. "No, that ain't," says he, and he twirled his tail. "Well, is it Mark?" says she. "No, that ain't," says he, and he twirled his tail harder, and away he flew. Well, when her husband came in, there were the 5 skeins ready for him. "I see I shan't have to kill you tonight, my dear," says he. "You'll have your food and your flax in the morning," says he, and away he goes. Well, every day the flax and the food were brought, and every day that their little black imp used to come mornings and evenings, and all the day the girl sat trying to think of names to say to it when it came at night, but she never hit on the right one. And as it got towards the end of the month, the imp began to look so maliceful, and that twirled that tail faster and faster each time she gave a guess. At last it came to the last day but one. The imp came at night along with the 5 skeins, and that said, "What, ain't you got my name yet? Is that Nicodemus?" says she. "No, T ain't." That says, "Is that Sam?" says she. "No, T ain't." That says, well, "Is it Methuselah?" says she. "No, T ain't that neither." That says, and that looks at her with that eyes like a coal of fire, and that says, "Woman, there's only tomorrow night, and then you'll be mine," and away it flew. Well, she felt it torn. However, she heard the king coming along the passage, and he came, and when he sees the 5 skeins, he says he, "Well, my dear," says he, "I don't see but what you'll have your skeins ready tomorrow night as well, and as I reckon I shan't have to kill you, I'll have supper in here tonight." So they brought supper, and another stool for him, and down the 2 sat. Well, he hadn't eaten but a mouthful or so, when he stops and begins to laugh. "What is it?" says she. "Why," says he, "I was out hunting today, and I got away to a place in the wood I'd never seen before, and there was an old chalk pit, and I heard a kind of a sort of humming. So I got off my hobby, and I went right quiet to the pit, and I looked down. Well, what should there be but the funniest little black thing you ever set eyes on. And what was that doing, but that had a little spinning wheel, and that was spinning wonderful fast, and twirling that's tail, and as that spin that sang, 'Nummy nummy not, my name's Tom Tit Tot.'" Well, when the girl heard this, she felt as if she could have jumped out of her skin for joy, but she didn't say a word. Next day that their little thing looked so maliceful when he came for the flax, and when night came she heard that knocking against the window panes. She opened the window, and that come right in on the ledge, that was grinning from ear to ear, and that tail was twirling round so fast. "What's my name?" that says, as that gave her the skeins. "Is that Solomon?" she says, pretending to be afeard. "No, T ain't," that says, and that came further into the room. "Well, is that Zebedee?" says she again. "No, T ain't," says the imp, and then that laughed and twirled that tail till you couldn't hardly see it. "Take time, woman," that says, "next guess, and you're mine," and that stretched out that's black hands at her. Well, she backed a step or 2, and she looked at it, and then she laughed out, and says she, pointing her finger at it, "Nummy nummy not, your name's Tom Tit Tot." Well, when they heard her, that gave an awful shriek and away